Tracing rights have the same priority into the property which is the proceeds of dealings with collateral that the security interest had in the original collateral itself. Now what this means is that if I'm a manufacturer of goods and I supply them to a wholesaler, and I did that on the basis of a retention of title clause which said I will continue to own them until you pay me. And if I also had a right to claim proceeds, then at the point where the wholesaler sold the goods to a retailer, the tracing rights would trace into the right to be paid by the retailer. Now, the manufacturer would have had a purchase money security interest, and if it had claimed that correctly in its financing statement, would have a first-ranking priority over other secured creditors of the wholesaler. What that means for a manufacturer which has supplied goods to a wholesaler on retention of title terms is that if it has correctly registered a financing statement, has claimed a purchase money security interest, which will have priority over all other secured creditors affecting the same property, it can trace into the proceeds of dealings with that property with the same priority that it was entitled to by virtue of its PMZ or purchase money security interest in the goods that it supplied to the wholesaler. So the tracing rights might apply to the combination of what it supplies with other things into finished goods, which might still be in the possession of the wholesaler, and it would still have a first-ranking priority, at least in proportion to the value of the things that it had supplied. It would also have a first-ranking priority in relation to the right to be paid by the retailer at the point at which the wholesaler had supplied the goods on to the retailer. This presupposes, of course, that the manufacturer has perfected its security interests correctly by registering a financing statement that claims a PMZ or purchase money security interest. There's one thing I should mention here, and that is, in my example, at the point where a retailer actually makes a payment to the wholesaler, the tracing rights might be postponed to another interest, and that is at the point where they're paid into a bank account, which we refer to as an ADI account under the Personal Property Securities Act. If there is a security interest held by that ADI or bank over the account with itself, it will be taken to be perfected not by registration but by control, and that perfection will take priority over any other interest in the ADI account, including the rights to trace payment by the retailer into the account. So for practical purposes, the effect of this is that tracing rights come to an end at the point where a retailer makes payment to the wholesaler and the payment goes into a bank account. That's in the example which we were working with a moment ago.